CEO of the Foundation for Defensive Democracies. Mark, first off, about what's going on right now, Hamas is targeting the clan that the IDF has armed and identified as people they could work with in the area. Is that a violation of this treaty?
Yeah, Brian, look, I mean, the IDF has been told to stand down, and Hamas isn't standing down. They're massacring Gazans. So they're in clear violation. They are not disarming, and they haven't returned the bodies of 21 murdered hostages to their families so that their families can give them the proper burial. So we got to hold Hamas accountable because we're letting them violate the ceasefire now. They'll be violating the ceasefire for days, months, and years to come.
So what about these tunnels? I mean, I would say it's like a hurricane and a tsunami hit Gaza at the same time. It's going to be hard enough to rebuild. You can't rebuild and deconstruct those tunnels while you're being shot at by a terrorist group. So what are the chances of the IDF being able to get back in there to blow up these tunnels, or engineers?
So exactly right. I mean, the hundreds of miles of tunnels, and Hamas obviously didn't use those tunnels as bomb shelters to protect Gazan civilians. They used those tunnels to protect terrorists and weapons, and also use them for dungeons where they held Israeli and American hostages. So the IDF has to go in and destroy the remaining tunnels. But this is also the job, according to the Trump peace plan, of this international stabilization force, which would be comprised of soldiers from Arab and Muslim countries and others who are supposed to go in there and disarm Hamas, strip it of its weapons, and also strip it of these terror tunnels, which are actually deadly weapons.
You think they'll be able to do it?
I'm skeptical, Brian. Look, I think at the end of the day, I don't know how many of these soldiers are willing to confront Hamas. I think ultimately it's going to be up to the IDF to do what it's been doing, which is taking the fight to Hamas, destroying these tunnels. Right. And ultimately it's going to be Israel that's willing to fight and die in its own defense. So I'm hoping this international stabilization force does what the Trump peace plan contemplates. But, you know, I'm skeptical until I see the commitment from these Arab countries.
All right. And yeah, they need pressure on Hamas. Now, yesterday, President Trump's task force, they were just unveiled, the new counter-narcotics joint task force in the Southern Command area took out a fifth narcotics boat. They said they killed at least 6. Quote from Truth Social, the strike was conducted in international waters. 6 male narco-terrorists aboard the vessel were killed in the strike. How effective have these strikes been? And what do you think they're doing to stop the flow of drugs into this area and destabilize Maduro?
Yeah, Brian. I mean, as Israel has taken the fight to Hamas and Hezbollah and Iranian Revolutionary Guard terrorists, the Trump administration is taking the fight to these narco-terrorists who are responsible for over 100,000 American deaths a year from fentanyl and meth and heroin, cocaine. These are terrorists. These finally are being treated not as a law enforcement problem, but as a problem of counterterrorism. So I'm pleased to see the Trump administration doing this and using military force against these killers of Americans.
I love that the president's paying attention to Central and South America. He's telling Argentina, this is a friendly government. We need to kick out China, and we need them as an ally. Let's do it and give them an opportunity. I love what he did with the Panama Canal, and I love that he's not accepting that Maduro lost 70-30 in an election and stayed in power. And that's not okay, as he allies with Cuba, Russia, Iran, and China. So the president's got his hands everywhere, especially in our hemisphere. Mark, thanks so much.
Thanks, Brian.